Good evening, fellow Cameroonians at home and abroad. This is Chairman Capo Daniel of PRAP, the People's Rights Advocacy Platform, where we believe in the truth, the power of the truth, and empowering our grassroots with knowledge and information that they need to be able to make determination of their own opinions and on how we push forward with the struggle we have back in Cameroon. So I want to welcome all listeners and people who view me across the globe, at home and abroad. I want to salute una all, be highly welcome. So things are evolving on ground. We have had tremendous feedback from our last publication where we talk about the letter that Issa Tchiroma published through the platform of Alice Nkom. And today, we want to talk even deeper about things that everybody who loves peace, who loves prosperity, who loves democracy will talk about, which is what is happening in Douala. After Issa Tchiroma's letter was published by Madame Alice Nkom, we have now received information that she has been convoked by the sous-prefect, the SDO of Douala 5. The prominent lawyer, Alice Nkom, let me put up her image here again. I think all of us know Mama Alice Nkom. She's a staunch human rights supporter, a woman that we highly respect and have an international reputation for standing up for human rights in Cameroon. After she has published the letter of Issa Tchiroma, she has been convoked by the SDO of Douala, also the deputy mayor, Mr. Mbibong, or how they call his name, also have been submitted for making statements that Paul Biya have lost the election. So these are the type of judicial administrative intimidation that goes on in Cameroon. So along with another deputy as well, we heard that totally about 3 people, from what we know, have been summoned by the Cameroon SDO in Douala for their opinion that Paul Biya stole the election, and they have been called for questioning. So I want to take this moment and talk to all Cameroonians, Francophone and Anglophone. Listen to me and listen to me carefully. I wish I could speak French better, but this is very important. When they do this type of thing, when you speak your opinion and they send you this convocation to intimidate you, it is judicial intimidation, plain and simple. And I want you to know what the law says, because every administrator, the only reason they can talk to you is because they have a law. So it must be based on law. According to the Cameroon legal framework, senior divisional officer, sous-prefect, SDO, DO, whatever you call their name, including the governor, they have only administrative duties. Range of their power is only to administer policies of the government, development, organization of the administration. That is the power they have. That is their task, administrative task. They are administrators. They can summon individuals for administrative inquiries only. Only administrative inquiries, not criminal investigation, not because they suspect that you have committed a crime. The authority of the SDO are not unlimited. We should know that. We have seen Paul Atanganji dispatching SDO and DOs to prefer to go and intimidate Cameroonians, blatantly misuse, abuse of authority, and we want you people to know. So the law and administrators, their job is not to intimidate the population. When they do so, they are working out of the law. They are not working with the law. They are doing illegal activities. And people have to know that they don't have the power to do so. And what they do so, they should be sued personally in court. So this is very important for me to explain to our people that they should know. SDO don't have the right to just call anybody in his office to interview you. If there is a suspicion of crime, the person who, if you have committed a crime, the person who is supposed to call you is a judicial police. If you are an administrator or a politician, it's a judicial police, not an SDO. So criminal activities falls within the bounds of law enforcement. That is why we see many people in Cameroon are being picked up, thrown in jail. They never send them to court because the Procureur General is not even aware. They just abuse power. Paul Biya sends people to go and arrest people when he doesn't have the power. The power to investigate crime, it belongs to the police and the gendarmerie and judicial police in terms of complex political crime. Ultimately, the court is the right channel for matters of criminal activity. So when they go and they call you because you make your statement, they want to make it that statement itself is a crime. They're intimidating the Cameroon people. So what we see in Cameroon today with this convocation of Madame, our mother there, Nkom, is Paul Biya sending out GOs and SDO, calling them, forcing them to go to the street, forcing them to do illegal activities without any quoting of the law or the constitution. They end up arresting political prisoners, throw them in jail outside of the law. They cannot be presented to a court of law because there are no documents of their arrest. They are just put there because somebody said they should put there. Summoning people because they express an opinion that is not acceptable is misuse of administrative authorities, which is a breach of the Cameroon Criminal Court, Penal Code. Lawyers must come together and sue these people or use public platforms in the public court. So when such authorities being driven by so-called authority above at the higher level officials, they have sent somebody, say the information comes from up, ask them what law did they quote? And in the public, these people should not come and be talking to the Cameroon people like people are stupid, they don't know what they are doing. These questions must be asked by journalists, and these people must be sued in court. So this is political issue, and I want to also educate our people, Francophone and Anglophone, to understand something about the Cameroon Constitution. You may say the Cameroon don't have constitutional law. When they go to swear in president, it's on top of that law, right? So everything comes from there. It's very, very important. So the preamble of the Cameroon Constitution guarantees freedom of speech. It guarantees freedom of speech. The Cameroon Constitution gives the duty to the administrative branch to protect the rights of the citizen, an administrator to uphold the right of the citizen. That means you as an administrator, you have to look what rights does people have, and then you have to protect that right or uphold that right. That is how administrators are supposed to work. So all the people who are there saying that they are civil servants, breaching the law, they should be called out. So I want to go into this topic a little bit brief so that people should understand. The Cameroon Constitution guarantees freedom of expression under Article 19. Under International Convention of Civil and Political Rights that Cameroon have signed, ratified by the Parliament, signed by President Paul Biya himself, every individual in Cameroon, every Cameroonian, has the right to hold opinion without interference or without fear and intimidation. Opinion expressed freely is an exercise of that right. So if your opinion, it is your opinion that Paul Biya lose the election, it is your opinion that Paul Biya stole the election, you have every right to express this opinion. Pastors, priests, community leaders, do not be silenced. Chiefs, do not be silenced. Express and use your constitutional rights. And yes, these are the rights guaranteed and protected by the Cameroon Constitution. In its text, in all text, affirms the citizens' right of freedom of speech. This is not just my opinion. I'm not just telling you my opinion. This is the law. If people don't know the law, if activists don't speak these words into power, it will become useless. So every Cameroonian should know that to say that Paul Biya stole the election is your right. Nobody can put you in prison because you say that Paul Biya stole election. If you are just expressing your opinion, you have the right to your opinion. The government have the duty to protect you to exercise that right. Look at the United States of America as an example. In the United States, after every contentious election, there are always voices that question the result. You can question the result as you want. This is part of democracy. If they claim that Cameroon is a democratic country, they should not intimidate or interfere with people who have the opinion based on their own observation that the election was stolen by Paul Biya. People have the right to say, we don't think this election is fair. We believe that Issa Tchiroma is the president-elect. We believe that Paul Biya is a thief. This is your right to say that. Nobody should intimidate you, and we should never allow the public space for the impression that this, as the Cameroon government wants to create, people should be afraid to say their mind. No. So, by dragging people into court, to offices, SDO, and sending out this letter, threatening people with arrest, is a criminal act in itself by the government officials who are doing that. You should know, even in the United Kingdom, even in France, people question election results. People refuse to recognize that somebody has been sworn into office. It is their opinion. If I say Paul Biya is not the president, I don't recognize Paul Biya as the president of Cameroon. Does it mean that he's not the president of Cameroon? If they give him all the power, and I say that I don't agree with it, it was wrong, it is my opinion. Remember that Issa Tchiroma called him President Paul Biya. So we have the right, and all Cameroonians must shame these thieves who have been stealing from Cameroonians, humiliating them every day, and they want to parade themselves like they walk with God when they are working for Satan. So what we see in Cameroon now is a regime that is terrified of its own people's voices, that is terrified that the truth will be put in their face, and that truth must be continually put in their face. They are using judicial system, SDO, not to uphold the law, but to break the law. They are the law breakers in that country. They are creating chaos, provoking people into reactions that they don't want to silence dissent. Dissent is a very crucial part of democracy, and to intimidate those who dare to speak the truth or to speak their truth. They are the enemies of democracy. They are violating every promise they have made in the United Nations forums of human rights. And we must tell them as it is, and we must tell the world and teach our children the truth. That it is illegal under Cameroon's own constitution and under Cameroon's international obligation to use judicial intimidation and fear against the people. We must tell the people that what Paul Atanganji is doing, where the SDO administrators, they arrest people without any arrest warrant, without any judicial process, out of the law, illegal arrest, dump them in prison, and are unable to even put the case in court because it is done illegally, it's wrong, and it's immoral. So all those who are listening to me, you must know that you have the right to say that you do not accept the election result because you believe it was fraud, you believe it was cheating of Issa Tchiroma. You have the right. We cannot surrender this right to these thieves and hoodlums who have hold on to power in Cameroon and refuse to allow the people to choose their leader. You have the right to say you believe Issa Tchiroma is the legitimate winner of this election. You have the right to call out the regime. You have the right to denounce fraud and expose fraud as you see it. You have the right to do it. No official in Cameroon, no SDO or GO has the right to take away your freedom to do so. If they come and tell you you cannot do so, they are acting out of the law, they are criminals. Stand up for your rights, stand tall, speak boldly, and let us remind this regime their place in the society. That their place have no place in our communities, in our society, because they are the people robbing our society and our community of their rights of choice. We must tell them the people's power is stronger than the people in power. They can do whatever they want, but they can never silence the population, and they can never silence the truth, and they don't have the power to transform lies and falsehood into truth. There's a video of a clergy, a Presbyterian pastor, who condemned the fraud we have seen in Cameroon, which I want to share with you. And this is what we expect everybody to do. And if everybody was doing like this, Cameroon story might be a different one today.
They know. I am from Batimo. I cannot imagine that during elections, the people of Batimo do not go out to vote because of the separatists imposed lockdown. And at the end, they say 5,000 people voted in Batimo. It is not wickedness.
So these are testimonies of a clergyman, a Presbyterian clergy, a pastor on the altar, telling people the truth. He is from Batibo. The election could not take place in Batibo because of the ongoing crisis that is going on in Batibo. The polls were closed. Very few people voted in Batibo. You could barely count the people that voted. Just for the people in Batibo to hear that the result they are announcing is that 5,000 people in Batibo vote. Is this not wickedness the clergyman asked?
It is not corruption in the highest order. And we do it that shame. And we move on and we say we are one word. Wickedness. Wickedness. Yes, it's not a falsehood again. We even saw on the TV how in Nkom 130 people registered to vote, and these people did not go out to vote. And yet, at the end of the day, it is recorded that 2,400 something people voted for one person.
So that is the truth. In Boyo, where they say 1,130 people participated in election, and the official result is that over 2,000 people there voted for CPDM, for Paul Biya. How is that possible? And how do you expect these people to accept that this is true? This is lies. Paul Biya did not win the election. It was a fraud. And the Constitutional Council validated this fraud. Who are those people who created that fraud? The Lekam people, the so-called government people, are the ones who are fraudulent, performing fraud, stealing, that results to the death of people.
It is not wickedness in the highest order. Wickedness. We plan wickedness. We live wickedness and we prosper in wickedness. The accounts are many. Is it into that 5,000, 15,000 votes came from there that people don't know how to vote? Our elites have become so wicked, so corrupt, so heartless. Our elites, they are the people mastermind all this wickedness. They are the people perpetrating it because they want to remain at the top. I tell you, the wrath of God will bring them down in the name of Jesus Christ.
The wrath of God will bring them down. Those who are masterminding the fraud, those who are masterminding cheating of Cameroonian people, broad daylight, and the fact that they seal it with a hand being sworn on the Bible, invoking God to witness fraud, to lie. If the Cameroonian people are weak to act, they are powerless, God will act on their behalf. The God that Bible Paul Biya put his hand to swear on will act against him and all those who participated in this fraud.
Our politicians have become fearlessly wicked, reckless, handless, corrupt, and wicked to the core. And they move about claiming that politicians, people who are supposed to govern us in a democracy, but they are people perpetrating all sorts of wickedness. And if they can do that, what more of the people at the grassroots? What they expect the people at the grassroots to do? It is no story again that many people are feeding from the crisis in northwest and southwest, and they would not want the crisis to come to an end. They enjoy it, they engineer it, they want it to continue. They even give weapons to people to continue fighting, so that they keep on benefiting from people's blood.
And that is the truth. As the priest, the man of God is saying, the Cameroon government officials are engineering the war in our English zone. They are providing weapons. And I speak to you as like a witness, somebody who have been there. I've given evidence of testimony of ADF soldiers in Bamenda who have been arrested by the Cameroon army and sent back to the terrain. I've given you evidence of them transferring weapons, heavy weapons. And I can assure you that in Mesam today, 95% of bullets used by Ambazonian fighters are provided to them by the Cameroon military. When you go to bury a person, the people that they send to come and take money from that family is coordinated between Cameroon law enforcement officers and the Amber boys. They tell them, go collect money for the one died for this side, go collect money. They take the money and they share up. They will come there to come, and when they come to take you because you didn't pay ransom, there is no police to defend you. The police open the way, they give them the right moment to come, they know when the operation is going on, they can come in broad daylight and do whatever they want, because the Cameroon military and these Cameroon corrupt officials are totally in bed with this criminal activity to exploit our people. We know that that is the truth. Families, I have thousands and thousands of testimonies of families who have called the Cameroon military when Amber boys are calling them to ask them to give them money. And those military call those Amber boys and tell them and report those citizens to them. And the population have nowhere to go. If the Cameroon government wanted to solve this problem, how would you explain that Paul Biya, when we declared cessation of hostility, rejected it? Rejected it. Because they want the war to continue. The war gives them more power, and our people and our boys should be wise. It's the truth. So, ladies and gentlemen, today I want to take time to dive into the issue of Issa Tchiroma's statement that was published by Nkom. I think you expect, like I always tell people, the revolution shall not be televised. How many activists have you seen talking about this message, very important message put out by Issa Tchiroma? None of them. Because we have created this atmosphere in Cameroon where people create their own reality. And this is what has destroyed Ambazonian struggle. And we should not bring that nonsense in Cameroon. I've seen Eric Chinje, a respectable person, going around trying to play the spokesperson of Issa Tchiroma. We have direct communication with his team as well. So we can assure our people, we give you credible information. When Issa Tchiroma left Cameroon, we were the first to broadcast it, to tell you people, because we think it's important. Now he has come out with a speech to tell people the way forward. All the activists, they are creating their own reality and pushing their own narrative. That is how in the Ambazonian struggle, the population was controlling the leaders, not the other way around. If the leader wants to do what they want, they will call a general to come and make a statement. At the end of the day, we end up with 10 different presidents and a confused population, an army now that don't know the left and the right. Cameroon should be very, very careful with our Ambazonian activists. They are mastermind of creating their own reality. We want to tell our people, it's because of this type of condition that Issa Tchiroma is not even able to make public announcement by himself of what is going on, because he respects the sentiment of the people. The people want him to go all the way. He has gone all the way for the people. But as a leader, even as an individual, before you start a fight with somebody, you calculate, if I get into this fight, am I going to win that fight or not? If it's the person too bigger than you, you better prepare yourself and fight when you can fight. But if we force the leader to come out and declare war, and he does not win the war, what will happen to the country will be regression worse than what we had even before Issa Tchiroma came on board. So a responsible leader must weigh the options and look at the best possible option to achieve the goal for the people. Right now, the regime's plan, their main objective, is to prevent Issa Tchiroma and other popular opposition leaders from stepping up and fighting during these coming parliamentary elections and senatorial elections that are ahead of us very soon. Their priority is to get them to fall in the trap of a war or any conflict with the government that will result for their party to be banned so that the Cameroon government can take control of it. People will ask me, what is the use of voting then? I want to ask you, have you not seen the logic of voting in this presidential election? Do you think this priest would have had that power to speak what he's saying today if there was no election, if Issa Tchiroma did not go? So if Issa Tchiroma knew that they would cheat him anyway, and then he decided not to go, we are then surrendering the country into the hands of this hoodlum. And we cannot afford to do that because the state institutions are so powerful in our day-to-day life, in our freedoms, our ability to prosper and grow as a society, that we cannot simply just turn our back because we are angry. We are all angry. I spent 1 week being depressed about this election. Pray about it. But we must dust our shirts from the sadness and depression of this election and see how we can move the people forward. It's very important. The regime wants us to be angry and make mistakes. In our anger, there is a danger. The difference between anger and danger is just one word, D, danger. We must be diligent to avoid the danger that is in our anger. The most important thing is the objective to free Cameroonians and give them greater freedom and a better livelihood. And we must focus all attention in the coming election. That does not mean that we will accept that Paul Biya won the election. No. We will continue the resistance to resist lies peacefully, legitimately, and make sure we have a foothold within the system so that we can transform whole accountability and be effective. People ask, why do we go now to election? That is the same mistake Maurice Kamto and his followers made, because they boycotted elections for the most part. They cheated in the areas where turnout was low. That is how elections were stolen. The United Nations, the European Union have put in place mechanisms that will make it very difficult for elections to be stolen. In the coming elections, there will be no final counting committee held somewhere in Yaoundé. It is local level elections where elections results will be counted at the regional, divisional level and declared there publicly. It requires the signatory of participants and representatives of political parties in those ballot poll stations. We don't have time. It is time for all the political leaders to come now. The CPDM are already doing the groundwork to put in place mechanisms that are a requirement with the law so that they can be able to cheat their votes. If all the political parties do not agree on a formula where they can have representatives in all the polling stations, where they will meet the requirement, because based on the argument we saw in the Constitutional Council, they require the admissible proof should be signatures of those who were witness for representing the various political party of the result there. If you do not have a representative in those polling stations, even if the government inflates the result, you will not be able to challenge it successfully in the Constitutional Court or whatever court that you want to be. You don't want to make their job easy. You want to have representatives in all polling stations. That is why they are afraid of Michelle Ndoki, because that is what she was working on. To an extent, Douala, those are the things they were working on. That's why they are using the ADF to go after Douala, because they are foolish. In their partisanship, they are foolish. They will be used and given false intelligence to go and destroy things that could free the people. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to continue to educate our people, empower you, and give you the courage. You cannot give up. We cannot give up and abandon our country to the rest of the people. Some people are asking me, why am I calling Cameroon, not Ambazonia? Understand, the declaration of Ambazonian independence made by Yoktabi has failed to gain the recognition that we intended it to have. That declaration of independence made by Yoktabi has not been recognized. It has failed, and there is no prospect of that independence being recognized or being the reality. Ambazonia was an aspiration. When it fails, we must transit and move on. If you do hold some medicine where it don't expire, it will kill you. So we will take time to explain all these things to our people to understand. But we must be principled, we must be pragmatic, and we must be realistic. It is a patriotic thing to do. People may go out there and start telling that Issa Tchiroma, maybe they don't give you money, maybe because that is a primitive way of reacting. 2 years ago, when I was campaigning that we should participate in this election thing, because we saw the opportunity and we know of the effect it could have, this particular one, they illiterate. Remember this guy, they call him, this guy used to call him Bobby Chair, Fabiano guy. He was there putting out false information because he doesn't want, the Cameroon government don't want people to listen to what I'm saying, because they know if people listen to what I'm saying, they are going to be effective and win. So they send these agents to go out there and put this information to create basic lies about what we say, and sow doubt in the heart of our people so that they doubt what we say and they don't do the right thing. So people have to learn from those mistakes. People like that know that they are agents of the enemy. They say things without any proof, any substantiation, even things that contradict reality. They don't have any credibility. They don't have any use for our society. So we have to focus to do the right thing for our people and make sure that we secure a future for a better Cameroon for everybody. We work hard. We'll do the hard work that it requires to do that. We have a lot of things going on at the back end. We'll continue to engage with our public to empower them, because we believe this process of